What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. And break down what's going on with the economic calendar thus far, what's happening with some big news involving Tesla, and some very important levels to be watching for as time progresses. But before I bring anything down all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo with the link down below and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks. The offer ends very soon. Anyways, now let's break down what's going on with Tesla. Tesla's kind of chomping around the 212 area. It's been doing this for the last couple of hours. But we're going to be watching to see how this thing moves, especially because today is going to be a very important day. After the market closes, Tesla has its earnings, so I'm going to break down more details about it and talk about something big that's coming out. But I first want to mention that for the whole market, right? Today's Wednesday. For today, 15 minutes after market open, we're at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the S&P Global Composite PMI coming out, the manufacturing PMI and services PMI data, all coming out at 9:45 a.m. So 15 minutes after market open. Additionally, at 11:30 a.m., we have the 17-week bill auction, the 2-year FRN auction also coming out. So watch for volatility at those times. But the most important thing to watch for is at 9:45 a.m. Will the PMI report cause the market to pump more, or is it going to cause the markets to reject? Watch this very carefully at 9:45 a.m. Anyways, looking at some big earnings that have come out, we just had AT&T's earnings for today. For yesterday, we had Netflix's earnings, which caused the market to pump. And then after market close today, we have Tesla and IBM announcing their earnings. So we'll be watching to see what Tesla announces today after market close. That's going to be very important. Basically, AT&T's guidance for 2024 misses as the Q4 subscriber adds to top views. So overall, the earnings were not the best for AT&T. Guidance was not that strong, and this led to this share price actually dropping for AT&T. So this is a little bit negative, but despite that, the market is still holding up. A couple of things affecting the market right now. Tech is still leading. We're starting to see the market break into new all-time highs. On top of this, Netflix absolutely crushed it yesterday with their earnings, adding 13.1 million subs, beating expectations, having stronger than expected guidance. As a result of that, we saw Netflix explode, and this helped the market push. The Federal Aviation Administration plans to keep its boots on the ground at Boeing. So that's something big about their manufacturer's quality control system, which is still working technically. So this is a good piece of news for them. We'll see how this affects them for the long term. As far as Tesla goes, I just want to mention that Tesla adds new features with FSD Beta version 12 for more natural speed behavior. So they're giving us more updates. There's going to be a lot more accuracy and confidence in the vehicle's performances, and they're improving the code from what I was looking at right over here. They're basically trying to replace 300,000 lines of code, and they're continuing to improve it when it comes to the neural networks. So that's some big news for them. They're improving the features, giving it more natural speed behavior. There's also some big news that came out. The Tesla next gen electric cars are coming potentially in 2025, according to some reports. This is very important. This could be the $25,000 model for Tesla. It could be coming in 2025, according to sources from the supply chains. With the plan to build 20 million vehicles by the year end of the decade, Tesla's going to need to expand its lineup. So we'll be watching to see any news about expansions and such. But this is a big piece of news with the new robotaxi being incorporated in this. The $25,000 Tesla model could be coming out very soon. If Tesla makes an announcement about this, this will be very bullish. For now, we'll be watching to see if anything changes. But with that being said, for a new potential model coming out next year, that's big news for Tesla. In mid 2025 is when it could end up coming out. This is the vehicle that's codenamed Redwood. That's once again some big news for Tesla. If this ends up coming out, this would be very bullish news for Tesla, but this is not officially confirmed. This is just what reports are suggesting. We'll see if Tesla announces a new vehicle or not. Now, with that being said, Tesla's kind of chopping around the 212s. If this thing gets a breakout, watch resistance at 216 to 217. If we reject and come back down, watch this 210 range, 207, 205, and then 202. What do I think Tesla's going to do? Well, one thing that's worth noting is that for the last couple of days, upon open, Tesla's pumped, then dumped and traded sideways. It pumped and dumped and traded sideways. So we might see an attempt to kind of pop a little bit, then dump back down and trade sideways. There's a very good chance Tesla's going to do that, especially because when you look at the 4-hour time frame, Tesla tends to to get rejected near the 20 EMA. We're slightly above it right now, so we might see a little attempts to go back up before coming back down. Then a lot of sideways price action is what I'm essentially anticipating. So look for a little pop and drop on Tesla, then sideways price action on the 212 range. I think Tesla's going to be very flat because investors are going to be waiting for earnings. So that's all I'm seeing for Tesla. Nothing too crazy. Might be a little bit boring, at least for now, but the big move is going to happen after its earnings. For SPY has resistance at 487.5 to 488. It's still pumping. It pumps like this thanks to Netflix. If we break 488, it's going to like get very close to 490. And if we break down, watch 486 and 485 as supports. If we lose 485, 483 is next. What do I think SPY is doing? I'd say it's holding up quite nicely thus far. We might see a lot of choppy price action, the 487 to 488 range temporarily. It might just kind of pop and shop for a bit, then attempts to pump higher. There might be another attempt, so watch it very, very carefully. It might pop, trade sideways, and then try pushing up later on. That is the most likely possibility, in my opinion. For the QQQ, it's the same thing. It's fighting 427 to 427.5. If we break 427.5, watch resistance at 429. For support, make sure you watch this thing at 426.25. If we lose this, we're going to be coming down to 425. If anything, it's going to likely shop around the 427s. If you break out, you're going to be looking for 427.5 and eventually a breakout above that. I think the most likely possibility is it might pop, trade very sideways in the 427s, and eventually try to push higher later on. I'm going to be watching these levels just to be safe. On Nvda, I'd say that Nvda, in my opinion, it might retrace towards this 602 area, maybe even 600, and then we, excuse me, then we might kind of bounce after that. So small retracement and a bounce. We might just see this thing range trade and trade sideways between 605 and 602. We have resistance at 607 as well, and then 610. We have support at 602, 600, and 597. I think it might retrace a little bit, pop back up, and just trade sideways throughout the day. We might get a very, very sideways day on Nvidia. For Apple's fighting the 195 to 195.7 area. If we break 195.7, excuse me, guys. If we end up breaking that resistance, we're going to be looking for a push towards 197. If 195.7 breaks, 197 is coming next. If we break down, watch 195, 194.4, and 193.5 as supports. In my opinion, we have a nice looking bullish wedge that's forming. With the bullish wedge, there's a very good chance this is going to attempt to break out. Watch 195.7. If we break this, we're going to be looking for a nice push towards 197. In my opinion, Apple's looking quite bullish right now. We have a bullish wedge that's forming, and I think it's going to be testing 195.7. But we have to see if that could break for now. It's going to attempt to break it. We'll have to see if that could break. If it breaks that, look for a bigger push. If anything, I do see it as essentially testing that for now. But with that being said, have a great day, guys. Please watch your levels carefully. Tesla might not be the most fun for now, but I'm expecting a very big move after its earnings report comes out. So have a great day, guys. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you, and peace out.